Welcome to AM Business here on the AM Show. Now, the Continental Free Trade Agreement is here with us. Ghana has won the bid to host the Secretariat amid some disappointment on social media over Nigeria's loss. In today's AM Business, we put it all in perspective as we assess what the Secretariat means for Ghana's economy and whether or not we are prepared.
Early this month, the Executive Council of the African Union accepted Ghana's bid to host the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. With Nigeria being the largest economy in Africa, one would have thought the federal state could have pressed on to host the Secretariat. This has already generated heated debate on social media. Nigeria had earlier delayed signing the agreement, saying it needed to hold consultations with trade unions and local manufacturers. Africa, being the world's largest free trade area since the formation of the World Trade Organization, the Continental Free Trade Agreement will cover a market of 1.2 billion people with a combined gross domestic product of $2.5 trillion. If you are a local petty trader, this is not the time to worry, as Trade Minister Alan Tremantin explains plans to protect your business. Here's Trade Minister Alan Tremantin.
To make it operational, there's also the protocol on goods, which has also been negotiated and signed. That deals with rules of origin, tariff concessions, non-tariff barriers, phytosanitary measures. All those things have also been negotiated. So we have a protocol in goods, and again, we have protocol in services. And this is very significant because even in the WTO, we've not been able to negotiate fully the protocol in services.
Free borders and a liberal market dominate the Continental Free Trade Agreement. This begs the question of how safe Ghana's borders are against the menace of dumping. Deputy Executive Director of the EPA, Ebenezer Appiah, tells Joy Business progress is being made to prevent this from happening.
We have an opportunity. There's an arrangement where SGS is doing that inspection on behalf of the government of Ghana to ensure that the goods that come into this country are not waste. Okay, so that at least that legal framework has been established. The implementation process has been put in place. We are now going through, the ensuring that the implementation system is working well. Okay, so without causing delays to trade. So on that front, I think we are well positioned to do that. We've done some training with the Ghana Customs and other institutions to ensure that we don't have goods slipping in which have not been inspected. Of course, we still have our borders the land borders to deal with, which is something that we have also had once we have that collaboration among the various institutions.
But is Ghana's business community prepared for the Continental Free Trade Agreement? The Executive Director of the Africa Center for International Trade and Development, Hubert Arthur, says consultation is key.
Consultations have not really been effective. Even looking at the time, the duration we used to sign the agreement and ratify, within 1 month. That's very strange. Your local industries were not even fully aware of it, before you go and sign such an agreement. 90% market access is not a joke. There's a lot involved in that. So I think now going forward, we have ratified with ineffective, stakeholders consultations and all of that. Putting that aside, now the agreement is into force and is going to be launched on the 7th of July. So we need to now do the homework in order to operationalize it and make sure that all benefits. The government must step up its game to do proper and effective stakeholders consultation. It's not just calling the few names, AGI, Private Enterprise Federation and all of that, and putting them in one room and say, you are engaging stakeholders. There are a lot of business associations with sector specifics that you need to bring them on board. There are women business associations, women groups who have no knowledge at all about this agreement. What opportunities are there for them? What are some of the threats to their businesses? And what do they need to put in place to be able to, compete with other African, businesses. So I think these are some of the things. Government should open up the consultation. They must do a lot of work to identify what are the interest groups, what are the business associations that are available, so that they will all benefit from these, agreement. Otherwise, I'm telling you, dumping is going to go on. And a lot of businesses will not be able to stand to compete.
Developing countries, so-called, they have a problem in terms of the quality of their products, or the packaging of their products. Instead of being able to pitch it in the right markets abroad to get what they are due. So that is what we have to look at. We also need to take care of the workforce and manpower that go into the production levels that we want, and also take care of the economics and the production inputs, so that they are able to produce at a level that really it makes them competitive. Now that we have Africa free trade, continental free trade coming in, it means that we need to be able to compete at a very high level, because some of the products going to come in from other African countries will be products of a very high quality. And so we should be able to do that. And already I think the Ghanaian industries, if you look at some of the made in Ghana goods these days, they are very good, they are of a good quality. I believe they're able to stand up well. But then, of course, it doesn't mean that we have gotten there. We are not there yet. The market really is not only in Africa, and as much as we should trade in Africa, and everybody knows that if we are able to make our standpoint in Africa, that's almost half of the way gone. But we're not looking at Africa, we are looking at beyond Africa, Asia, Europe, wherever. So that our products also become household names, like German products, American products, our Chinese. We should be able to, and I'm sure that should be the target of any manufacturing industry in Ghana.
The AfCTA will bring together 55 member states of the African Union. In terms of numbers of participating countries, the agreement will be the world's largest free trade area. CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, explains the development will have great impact on the flow of investment into Ghana.
For us, even as an office, it's significant opportunity, job creation opportunity, because lots of people are going to be hired. It will require a lot of housing, it will require a lot of transportation, it will be requiring schools to educate the children of the people who work there, and also set Ghana as a hub for international offices in Africa, I believe. So you're going to have some of the agencies then start relocating their embassies, sorry, not the embassies, their headquarters, regional headquarters in Accra, because it makes a lot of sense.
Even as Ghana hosts the Secretariat for the Continental Free Trade here, there are several concerns regarding dumping issues and even that of the rights to hosting. But amidst all these concerns, it is very clear, as economists have praised the country for its sound economic policies that could sustain the rippling effects of the hosting of this Continental Free Trade Agreement Secretariat. Meanwhile, the GIPC has dispelled suggestions the agreement could result in dumping, saying appropriate standards and regulations exist to forestall such inconsistencies.
Because there are rules and regulations that are going to be at play. It doesn't mean that because you are one market, you can just throw things across the border any time you want. But the important thing is that you're increasing trade amongst the countries. And yes, I also do concede that as your economy becomes comparatively much better than other economies, then you become a victim of either economic migrants looking for jobs or adding value to it. But at the end of the day, what is more important is how we can create an environment, and the President has said clearly that Ghana should be the best place to do business. But we also do have laws, and immigration laws are pretty clear on that. And even with the CFT, the laws of engagement are clear. It's not just going to be an open-for-all field where anybody can do anything in each other's country. No.
Remember that the call for a single African market traces way back to these words from Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah.
Our greatest danger stems from disunity and the inability to see that the realization of our hopes and aspirations, the realization of our objective of total African independence, and of our future progress and prosperity is inextricably bound up with the necessity to unify our policy and actions in connection with the continued struggle for independence and the greater task of economic and social reconstruction beyond it. We must therefore face the issue of African unity now, for only unity will make the artificial boundaries and regional demarcations imposed by colonialism obsolete and superfluous. African unity will thus provide an effective remedy for border disputes and internecine troubles. In a united Africa, there could be no frontier claims between Ethiopia and Somalia, or between Zanzibar and Kenya, Guinea or Liberia, or between Ghana, Togoland, and the Ivory Coast. Because we would regard ourselves as one great.
But amidst the high expectation and bright prospects, the Continental Free Trade Agreement could be a test of Ghana's strong macroeconomic environment and competitive business landscape.
So I guess for now we wait and see the impacts that the Secretariat would indeed make and the transformation that it would bring to Ghana's economy. That's all in AM Business. Join us every Wednesday here on the AM show. Courtesy EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank, will bring you business.